Hey friends, welcome to Creative X. I'm Brad Hussey, a web designer, and today we're going to be jumping into a workshop that I co-hosted with Darren Alderman, all about building apps and websites with no code. So if you want to know how to build sophisticated apps and websites without writing a single line of code, well, this workshop is for you. Let's get into it. Neat to have you all here, and we're all here to talk about no code and how it's basically the future of the web and the future of building for the web and web-based careers. Can't ignore it. Not saying it's making developers disappear or designers disappear. Like, heck no, like that's not how this works. But we're talking about no code, building apps, building websites. Yeah, it makes it more accessible to people who maybe don't want to be a programmer, don't have any interest in it, maybe don't feel like they have the ability or time to learn the ins and outs of being a good programmer. So Darren, you take it away, man.
Yeah, thanks so much, Brad. Thanks for letting me come on and share some things. For those of you that don't know me, I live in Louisiana in the US. I've lived here all my life. So that's why I know about Mobile, because I'm somewhat right next door. And yeah, I started out in web development. I actually started out at a company that was doing web development, and I wanted to learn how to code and just to kind of communicate to my developers a little bit better. And that's when I came across Brad through his YouTube courses and Udemy. And so I kind of taught myself coding through Brad's courses and became a web developer. And it was a lot of fun. I would design like the website on the front end, so that what you saw, but then I would also do stuff in the database with all the data behind the scenes. And it was great, but it was also really freaking slow. Like trying to build and ship a project for a client at this company would take like 6 months. And it was really hard just to iterate and get people to make decisions. And it drove me absolutely bonkers. But in the midst of all that, I volunteered to coach some local high school students on how to build an app. They were doing some kind of app challenge, and they were building with a no-code app builder. And that was my first kind of introduction to no-code. And it's crazy being a no-code or being a coder and like just first kind of understanding the concept of no-code. But I was hooked. I was like, this is the future. I want to dive into this and share it. So I started teaching how to build apps with no code on YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel where I teach that. And in the midst of that, people started to reach out to me, and they were like, hey, Darren, you're building these cool apps for fun. Why don't you help me build my app and I'll pay you? And I was like, what? How does that work? And I decided to go for it. And, I was able to get clients and kind of build that up to be like a nice little side hustle. And eventually I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. Why don't I do this full time? And so I quit my W-2 job, my full-time job, and now I'm doing this full-time, helping people bring their ideas to life using no code. And I'm hooked and I love it and I love sharing it. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. And so that's kind of my backstory. I wanted to share that with you since Brad got to share his story. And so, yeah, why don't we just go ahead and kind of jump into things. I did prepare some slides for us to kind of guide our conversations. Today, the topic was how to quickly launch with no code. And you've already met me and Brad. I just wanted to throw this nice swanky image up there of our faces morphing together because I thought it was very humorous. And I'm talking about no code apps, and Brad's our no code sites guy. And in our workshop today, I wanted to kind of guide us through how to build custom software fast. That's no code. 3 keys for launching with no code. This is what I teach people when they're just getting started. And then we're also going to do some demos of mine and Brad's favorite tools if you're just getting started. So, Brad, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When were you first introduced to no code?
Before it was called no code, actually. I feel like in the last few years, that word kind of was the way that people defined what this thing was. I don't even remember what we called it before, like automations or workflows.
Yeah, it's kind of funny trying to understand the term, because it can be so broad. It's like anything you're doing to build software, whether you're systematizing or designing, but you're not actually typing code, is no code. And the way I always explain it to people is a website builder. Like that's been around. I feel like, I mean, website builders have been around a long time before no code was a thing. But that, I mean, building a website with a website builder is no code. And so that's the way I like to explain it to people. No code. Let's get into launching with no code. So if you have an idea for a project, whether it's a website or an app that you're thinking about building, or even if you're building apps for other people or websites for other people, these are kind of my 3 keys for kind of any new project. And the first one is to simplify your idea. And this, I mean, kind of makes sense. You want to reduce whatever you're thinking about making to like the smallest kind of idea, whatever you're going to build. So if you're building a full website for a client, well, maybe you start off with just 3 sections on the main page, and that's where you get started. You show that to them, see if they like it, and then you can iterate on it later. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. So I was thinking about what he was doing with SpaceX. Their initial thing was, let's land a rocket without having to throw it away so that we can reuse rockets. And they figured that out. And now they're planning on trying to go to Mars. So it's the same thing with coding for me, is like, let's simplify our idea to the smallest thing that actually makes it useful. And then we can build and iterate from there. My second point is to build and ship it quickly. So you've reduced your idea to a simple thing. You want to do one thing. And then the next piece is to build and ship it quickly. Like say you have an idea for a website. You don't have to go and learn a programming language in order to build it. You just go to a website builder and give it to somebody. Build it in there in a day or a week and then ship it to them. To kind of show you and kind of give an example of how to build quickly, I gave Brad and myself a little challenge, which was to build something in 5 minutes. So I wanted to show you guys just like how quickly you're able to build things from no code.
I think it would actually be really useful for you to try to, one, become familiar with how easy it is to get started with Editor X, but also to create something tangible that you could use very quickly. So what I want you to create is a quick link in bio page with Editor X. Now I made it crazy easy for you. A link in bio page is, for example, on Instagram, everybody has those. Click the link in bio to, see the directory of links to your blog, your newsletter, your videos, your resources, your course, to book a call, whatever it is. Most people have that. It's really useful to have. And so, for example, if I click on my link in bio here, it actually goes to a link in bio page that I've set up. This is very customized. I even created a tutorial on that, but we won't talk about that right now. But what I did do is create another link in bio template that you can actually use and clone. So for example, this is what I created, and it's responsive, and it's a shell link in bio page that I want you to create right now. It's actually very, very simple. What I've done is I've created a shareable library for you. So you can actually just clone this, each component. So what you're going to do, I'm going to walk you through this right now, and then I want you to give it a try. So you're going to go to editorx.com and then sign up for free, and then create a new EditorX site. It's then going to ask what template you want to use, and all you're going to use is just a blank canvas. And the link that I'm going to share with you gives you the site library with all of the components that you can just drag in and then customize. So the link that you need to use is bradhussey.ca/linkit-clone. Put that up on the screen here, but it's bradhussey.ca/linkit-clone. And that will ask, after you've signed up for EditorX, if you want to add those site styles and that site library to your EditorX account. Once you've created your fresh site, you can actually go to the plus icon, go to assets, and then under your libraries, you will see Linkit or Linkit, however you want to pronounce it. And then here you've got those clonable assets that are now accessible to you. So what you can do is just drag in, for example, the hero block. And then you can go ahead and drag in a link block. And then, for example, let's say you wanted to add in a subscribe call to action block. And really, that's it. The whole thing is now responsive on any screen size. And you simply just need to edit the links. It's very, very simple. You just click on each component. It's very straightforward. So I want you to try that out. So go to editorx.com, sign up for free, create a fresh blank site, and then go to bradhussey.ca/linkit-clone. It will add that site library to your EditorX site, and you can just drag those components in. Feel free to try that out right now, or you could try it out afterwards as well.
What would you say to somebody that is a WordPress developer who is very hesitant to switch to no code when they're building something for their client?
Yes. Well, now don't get me wrong. I don't mean to knock WordPress, because probably a lot of people watching this have found me through a WordPress course, a WordPress tutorial, or you know that I have WordPress courses. And so, yeah, I think WordPress is great. I think it's powerful, and there's a reason why much of the web is powered by WordPress. So great. I understand, but we all can talk about the elephant in the room. It's bloated AF. It's just a total mess. I would often, when I had active WordPress based clients, would get calls randomly being like, hey, so when I go to my website, it's just a Viagra site now. And I'm like, what? Are you typing in your website, or are you typing in Viagra? And they're like, no. And I'm a dance studio for children, so this is totally inappropriate. And so I'm like, oh crap. Sorry, fam. I know we're having dinner right now, but a children's dance studio has been hacked, and now it's just showing totally inappropriate websites. And that's one of the more nice and PG things that has happened to clients of mine, because of the open source nature, because of the mass market nature of WordPress, because of the free nature of WordPress, because you don't have to pay for it. You get what you pay for. And so because of that, it's just all wide open, and there's always vulnerabilities, always issues, always security threats, and it's always a problem. A lot of people building on WordPress aren't actually really good at developing and understanding the backend and understanding what goes into making sure the WordPress site is good. They're just building it because it's kind of easy. You can use plugins and themes, and you kind of essentially are playing around with and flirting with no code anyway. Divi, Elementor, Beaver Builder, all these things, it's all no code. And that's all it is. It's just enabling you to flirt with the idea of no code. So, you're dragging and dropping, you're doing integrations. There's maybe some custom integration. So it's nice. It makes it easy to build out and prototype and launch sites for clients. So with, say, EditorX, it's all baked in, it's all in the one package, it's all in-house, and any apps or integrations that are associated with EditorX, which is a part of the Wix framework, it's all vetted and it's all carefully chosen. And so there's opportunities for developers to build apps and integrations for Wix, but you don't just get to make your own and submit it and that's it. It doesn't work that way. It's very carefully selected.
Now let's talk no-code apps, and I'll show you how to build a no-code app. Can I do it? Let's dive into this. Okay, so I wanted to do let's do a 5-minute timer. I'm gonna build this from scratch for you guys. Okay, it's starting. Crap. Okay, we're gonna start with a spreadsheet. I know there's a lot of you that are making making projects for clients, so I thought it would be fun to start off with a kind of like a client management app. So we'll call this client. And then let's say we have that'd be like their name. This would be like the status of their project. And then maybe we want to know the deliverable. So you can have a link to their project. So I'm going to add in some dummy data here. We'll say Adam, Darren, Brad, open, in progress. So this is the status of each of these projects, and complete. And then the deliverable for this one is going to be the link that I want you all to go look at, which is mine and Brad's partnership page on my website. So really simple. We're just tracking who our clients are and what status their projects are in. how do we make this into an app? So this is a demo for CXC. So I use a platform called Glide. And Glide lets you build apps from spreadsheets that are web apps. So they exist on the web. They don't require the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. So I'm going to log in here and build an app off of this simple spreadsheet that I just created. So all I'm going to do is press new project. Just call it demo. I'm going to build an app. And then my data source is going to be Google Sheets. And then here's my demo for CXC. So I choose that spreadsheet. And then this no-code platform is going to look at my data and build like a little template app based off my data. So you can see here, it's added one tab with a list in it of my clients. So let me go ahead and rename this tab to be clients. Clients. And then I'll update this list view to add a little image here for their name. And then I can click in there and it's already given me like a template of their data there. So we have their name, and then I wanted to have a link to their deliverable. But right now there's nothing in there. So let me add in right here. So here's a link to their deliverable. And then it's also given me an edit page where I can update their client name, their status, and their deliverable. And then it's also out of the box giving me a way to add. So let me go ahead and add a new client. So we'll add in Harold here and say his project is open and deliverable hasn't been added yet. So I'll add that. So now we have 4 people in there. And then behind the scenes, he's been added to our data set here. And so now we have a functioning app where we can add clients and edit them. And then the last thing to do is to publish this. And so I can publish this app and copy this URL, and it's made this app available on the web. And I can sign in with my email address, or I can, just for demo's sake, let me turn off the privacy for this app. And I can update like the icon and change to my company branding. And then I'll refresh this. And it should have all those changes reflected. And so there we go. Now we can view these projects and add new ones. And so it's really simple to kind of balance 3 clients in your head. But if you were to have like 50 clients that were all in different statuses, it's nice to have them all in an app, and you can customize this to be specific to your business. So how do we do? So less than 5 minutes, we have a simple app created with Glide, which is what I use. So we've built EditorX link in bio page in 5 minutes. We built a quick client manager in Glide in 5 minutes. And so we had simple ideas. We built them really quickly with no code. And then the next step is to validate and iterate. So you've built something really quickly, your no code project. And now you want to, basically at this stage, the question I want you to answer is what I built useful? And should I invest more time and money into it? So for Brad's example of the link in bio page is really quick, it's automated, and it's saving him $10 a month. And it's validated. Like, okay, this works. I don't need to do anything else. He can add other things in the future, but he's saving money. That's great. If you're building a website with EditorX for your clients, again, build that simple landing page, see if they like it, and then go and iterate on that. If they want you to add more, if they want you to add a blog to it, if they want to add mobile ordering for the restaurant to it, start simple and build on top of that. And then with apps for my clients, I teach a lot of like building the minimum viable product. So invest a couple $1,000s to get that initial idea built out. Start testing that with your target market, your users, showing that to investors. And then if it starts to gain traction, if people want to pay for it, if people want to continue using it, well, then you can start iterating on it and adding more features, investing a little bit more time into it. But you don't do that until that initial idea is validated.
That was fun. What did you think? Who knew that building amazing apps and websites could be so simple and fun? Well, I knew, actually. Big thanks to Darren and everyone who attended. If you'd like to see more of this exciting content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video so we can get YouTube to bless us with those algorithms, and we'll see you in the next one.